My name is Aisha Ibrahim. This is Election Brief. Within the next 38 minutes, we have the latest update from the political scene for you. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and all our social media handles at myjoyonline.com, also on Joy News on TV. Election Headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity, Chartered Institute of Marketing Accountants, the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants, and German Ozone Medical Center, Alternative Therapy, Dental, Wellness, and Beauty. Election Headquarters for an informed electorate. The Convention People's Party has applied for an interlocutory injunction seeking to stop the Electoral Commission from going ahead with the Jiso by-election on April 30. The party is hoping to ensure that until a suit filed against the EC is determined, the by-election does not take place on April 30, 2024, any other date, as long as one Esther is on the ballot, purporting to contest on the ticket on behalf of the CPP. In a suit filed by the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the CPP, Mr. Emmanuel Gallo, the party claimed that they had written to the EC on April 18 to categorically inform them of their non-participation in the by-election. Well, I've been joined by the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the CPP, Emmanuel Gallo, for more on this. Grateful for your time, Mr. Gallo. What was the EC's response when you alerted it of your non-participation in the Jiso election? Hello, Mr. Gallo. All right, so we'll try and get Emmanuel Gallo back for this conversation. Right now, Senior Lecturer at the University of Ghana's Political Science Department, Dr. Kwame Asante, says the NDC running mate, Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang, demonstrated her readiness to lead in her speech yesterday. The NDC running mate was outdoored yesterday by the party's flag bearer, John Mahama, where the former UCC Vice-Chancellor delivered remarks on the state of the nation and what she brings to the ticket going into the 2024 elections. We'll hear from Dr. Asante in a moment, but first listen to this report by my colleague James Aveji, capturing Wednesday's event.
Draped in the symbolic red, white, green and black colors of the umbrella, hundreds of NDC sympathizers and party bigwigs gather here at the UPSA Auditorium in Accra to witness the outdooring of Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang as running mate to John Dramani Mahama.
Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang.
Chairman of the party, Johnson Asedu Nketia, set the tone for the night by bursting the bubbles of those anxiously waiting for appointment in the next NDC government.
Some people are not only fighting about the positions they will occupy. They are telling all others that they will be the kingmakers and they will be making their appointment. If we are not careful, this will dampen the enthusiasm and the spirit of our followers.
Rolling out her vision to party faithfuls and Ghanaians, Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang did not shy away from taking a swipe at government.
I don't know about you, but the image I get looking at that hole is a trench in utter shock that anyone could believe it was intended as a Thanksgiving gift to the Almighty, invisible, God only wise. Such a report will not find COVID money shared for partisan political campaign purposes. I will not, in the advancement of self-serving ambition, declare to the whole world that I was only the driver's mate.
So what will her government offer Ghanaians?
The report will highlight new roads harbors, railway lines, not what we've seen of late, Ayalolo buses, you will find the lack of intimidation of opposing voices. You will find serious investment and practice to enable a digitized economy and society. The reports will go on to point at housing projects, including the famous Saglemi housing complex. And even those that somebody has happily raised to make room for a presumed.
Knowing the role Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is playing as head of the economic management team and lead on government digitization agenda and what may be expected of the next Vice President, former President John Dramani Mahama explains what the exact job description of his Vice President will be.
She has great insights into human resource management, empowerment, and social development. And under my administration, she will have oversight, among others, of the education sector, the health sector, gender, and social protection.
Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang says the next NDC administration will deal with all corrupt government officials.
John and I have agreed that whoever has participated in the plunder of the state must be held accountable. And my friends, this is not a threat, it is a promise.
As to whether this second John and Jane ticket will deliver victory for the NDC come December 7, 2024, the race has just begun. James Abeji, Joy News.
Well, Dr. Asa Santi says Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang does not bring much to the ticket. The comments by people that she doesn't bring much to the NDC ticket is unfounded.
Various factors that influence voter choices. One is the economy, infrastructure development, the fight against corruption, rule of law, unemployment, and a host of them, in addition to what? Energy and energy crisis, how you are going to fix this. So, of course, I am not oblivious of the fact that the personality of what the president or the running mate or the flag bearer is also critical. Some people look at these things. But beyond that, people look at even constituency-specific issues. If there's a place where they are looking for market for women to what? Apply their vocation, and they don't find that. They don't care who's about, who is the running mate or the leader of the party. So that argument that what did she bring the last time, for me, is a WAP argument. The whole, analysis is wrong. There are so many factors. But of course, if you have anybody who is going to be in the seat as what? A running mate, you should have certain qualities that will really allow people to what? Follow her. People will support her. That will also make it attractive to people to follow. But that person alone cannot be the factor that influence voter choice. So all the analysis you see in the media are basically wrong. Look at this woman. It comes from so many constituencies, apart from her natural constituency of the central region, specifically where she comes from in a particular constituency. She also appeals to the gender groups, academics, women, by and large, and the general society. Of course, the NDC as a party. So all these things are things that are going to support her to be able to add to the ticket and make the ticket meaningful.
Meanwhile, NDC MP for North Tongue Samuel Ablakwa, who served as deputy to the NDC running mate while Education Minister, says Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang excites the base of the NDC.
Again, having campaigned with her, entering the Volta region, other parts of the country, including the northern parts of our country, where people will have thought that she is not known and probably may not be embraced in the way and manner you describe. To the contrary, she is very well received. When we
among the grassroots?
Yes.
They warm up to her? They're excited by her?
They're excited by her.
Really?
Particularly the women organizers, the young people. And you see, I want to reference a poll that the Global Info Analytics published on the 4th of December 2020. Mm-hmm. So they asked, the survey question was that John Mahama selected a female running mate in the person of Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang. Would that decision influence you to vote for the NDC? And this was a few days to the election. Those who said definitely, 44%, maybe 29%, not at all, 27%. So definitely 44%. If you add definitely and maybe, that's 73%. So I think that increasingly, and you're seeing this even manifest in other jurisdictions, increasingly voters and the electorate are getting tired with, the traditional politicians, those who have been around for a long time. And every now and then, they want to embrace, perceived outsiders, quote and unquote. Even though we have known Professor Naana Opoku-Agyemang ideologically has been with us for decades.
Well, I'll be joined by the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the CPP, Emmanuel Gallo, for more on the conversation on the CPP's going to court to get injunction to stop the Ejiso by-elections. Let's speak with Emmanuel Gallo, Chairman of the CPP in the Ashanti region. Mr. Gallo, grateful for your time. What was the EC's response when you alerted it of your non-participation in the upcoming by-election?
Thank you, Madam. Good afternoon to your listeners. Madam, we've written a letter to the EC, made them to understand that we are not going to contest the Ejiso elections. They received the letter, made us understand that they have acknowledged it. Later, did we got to know that the regional EC boss made us understand that order from above is saying that the national chair, which is Madam Frimpoma Saponkuma, have written a letter to make them to understand that she is the chair and leader of the party, and she is super international woman. Nobody can overtake her and take any decision. So therefore, the girls should be fired. The issue is that we are in the region, and per our constitution, you cannot jump over from the constituency up to the national. You need to have the constituency primaries, then the person is being introduced to the region takes it up and to the national. The person in question that we are talking of is not a CPP member. She has never gotten a CPP membership card. Somebody in the region that none of the regional executive members know. And she said it to be in confidence. Chairman, the truth is that I am not a CPP person, but my intention is to join CPP. Madam, if somebody tells you that, what again is the evidence that is needed before we can strike her name out of the ballot so that we can have peaceful election? Our suit is very simple. Leave the girl's name out of the ballot, go on with your elections without any problem. Finish, because she is not a CPP person. Other than that, then on Monday, we are going to court to get the injunction, which we have already served the Electoral Commission. And I think Electoral Commission is very heavy enough to look through this and make sure that the right decision is taken, and it will give all of us peace and save all of us money and resources so that we don't waste it.
This is an internal problem. Have you raised this at a meeting with your chairperson to actually use internal mechanisms to deal with the issues first?
Come again, Madam.
I'm saying this seemed to me like a party problem that could have been resolved with internal party mechanisms. Have you explored that?
Yes, I've gone through all these processes. And as I told you, You cannot jump from constituency to national. We've done all these things. And the question is, the Madam in question, that is Madam Frimpoma, never consulted the region before writing that letter. So that alone makes it illegal. And if indeed the Electoral Commission want to do due diligence, they only have to go through our constitution and get to know the systems that you have to go through before. And this is something that we as the region, that the whole thing is going to take place, we've written a letter to you. So if there is any differences, at least we need to be called on the round table so that we get the thing resolved and they will get to know the truth. But if indeed they will not understand this for us to do due diligence, then the law has to take a due course. After all, nobody is bigger and stronger than the constitution of this party of ours. Within the CPP, everybody that is within the CPP must confine to the system that we are working within it. And you cannot be bigger, stronger, heavier than our party's constitution. With the Electoral Commission have our constitution.
But has your chairperson explained to you why she's given the go-ahead for Esther Say to participate in the by-election?
No, she has not given me any explanation. The first call that I had with the Madam Frimpoma was when she said to me that Madam Bibi have made her to understand that there's one Mr. Kwame Mayor who had wanted to contest, but it seems that the man's conversation doesn't suit the system. Then I confided in her, made her to understand that I also heard the same thing after looking at some written, that is, articles that have been written by Mr. Kwame Mayor. I admitted that indeed what Madam Bibi said is true. So I made the chairperson and leader, Madam Frimpoma, to ask Madam Bibi and made her to understand that what she has said to me is what I am communicating to her. So that was the end. We never had any call again. We never had any conversation until the day that they went in there to file, which Mr. Banobio, who is the Regional Electoral Commissioner board, made them to understand that the regional executives have written a letter to the regional EC board that they are not participating in those elections. So they cannot accept the ladies, filing in a so because they know of the region through the regional chairman and the regional executives. That ended it. We ended it smoothly until deep in the evening when I called Mr. Banobio, that he made me to understand that, Chairman, I am sorry, your chair and leader, Madam Frimpoma, has written a letter to the headquarters. So order from above tells us that we are to accept the girls filing. This is it. This is the whole story. Madam.
So what are your demands from the court in the injunction application?
Is very simple. That the said Madam Esther, who claims that she claims that she is a CPP person, or Madam Esther, who the Madam Frimpoma, who is our chair and leader, made us to understand that she is a CPP person, confide in me as the regional chair that she is not a CPP person. She went ahead and made me to understand that she has attended only one meeting and a funeral with Madam Frimpoma. I asked her in confidence, Madam, how many polling stations do we have in Ejoso? She made it clear. Sir, I don't know. How many polling stations? I don't know. What organization have you done that you think you can win this seat for CPP? She made me to understand that I have not done any organization. So for her to understand the system very well, I gave her somebody who works at the Electoral Commission at Joso to educate her and let her understand the structure and get to know that the law that she wants to go and carry is heavy. And after all, the party's constitution says that you must be somebody who has served the party, be in the party, pay your dues, and everything for not less than 3 years. So my question is, have they done all these processes? No. So, Electoral Commission, we are humbly just letting you to understand the system. So, is the Electoral Commission telling me that anybody from anywhere who comes and the letter is being signed by the chair leader, that alone guarantee that go on and do what you want to do. I don't think that is the law. So that is why we are seeking the intervention of the court, that please let them understand, take off the name, continue with your elections. If not, then we are looking for injunction on Monday to inject the elections on Tuesday. Then the election cannot take place. If they don't listen and continue with this, then we go to the brim of it and we get to know that indeed we are the regional executive are speaking the truth. Then we will plead with the court to make the announcement for the whole world to understand that the Ejiso by-election is not and void, and that will take us to square zero. In this situation of ours that we are finding it difficult to get money around this country, I don't think Electoral Commission have to do this thing to give us problems. They should do the country good by letting us understand that the right thing is being done for us to get, solution to this problem of ours.
What would you do? What would be your next line of action if you don't get the injunction? Because the election actually, as you say, is on Tuesday.
Yes, I have made you to understand that on Monday, if the injunction is not given, we will continue with the story. We are not ending it. We will continue with it. We will pursue it to the brim. And maybe by then, somebody has been elected, announced that he or she is the winner of the election. And if the court now comes to pronounce that indeed we are right, then it means we will demand for the court to help us make the whole world understand that the election is null and void. Then we have to go through it again. I don't think this will help the country at this stage that we are.
I'm grateful for your time. Manuel Gallo is Ashanti Regional Chairman of the CPP, who says they're going to court to get an injunction to injunct the upcoming by-election in Eji. So we'll be bringing you more as it unfolds. Now time for you, the electorates, to say what will inform you in the upcoming election to vote for a party of your choice. Today's voter's voice is from Odoko.
I don't think I'm a papa to and me imagine say in coming to a bunny beam. I'm wearing DC. See me twice, me free me and think I'm in to biom. And so me say I feel about to answer so I'm promoting my tongue. My tongue of my Anthony, I'm in to a by semination free me qua mat 3. Me and a ma blush or Musa, me won't. Baby said, I said, what free myself about Buami Po. I want me manu or Musco, or movie, or more Jumamo. Shaming Kwana me bre.
I feel me to aba. Me a ganani, into a summit to aba. Saman to aba. Or be back or to know ye dear mempe. Eddie and mammy. Into us as good citizen. I have to vote. Into me to aba.
Abande coming to be on cry, me with Motin Maton. The Pobeton, no Milbama send this never to a metamano. MPP never turns to a metamano. Now, and run at Amakuma send me.
At the quantity I met one met to a banny say. Me back or a Palm Secondary School, a son of Mansum, while 5. Me and me school fees. And the free education about a bit more top provisions. One will say memoir heading. And so first, we better top provisions. What's I could to your school fees?
Then time person me to abanese, person me to now MPP phone free so. It's a move back, bet now so no my Ghana heading. Yeah, who your school call your baby heading. Yeah, lawyer for money nyama baby heading. Or mama Ghana heading too much. And so this is now so I mean we say na Ghana na America cry. As see I the MPP bet now so there. Mama like your baby too hard. And si papa chomo so support na I am voting my NDC. Jo mama, ono na ebeko.
We mean to aba. Because as I said can say we are sick can say bibia say oh ye juma ye ntoshi wo ba loto say loto na me twa me ba juma fiti anopa obi am betoshi obi adi loto me twa loto ma obi 2021 up to now o man tia meka brofo kese no moka enti afi we die me ya ma adwin say me to aba ma obi abiem loto ni nyina mo di gu phones and omukwa mo diska no oh it's a few way die me to abama obia
me to abano me chima tidem nam nia ayam se betumi atu amano no na matu amano titam nso a egberu adempa ye
ọman mu ayede nso Nigeria for wo mu dwane ba mimi constituency anomo no edwuma mpuntu dwuma bebre akoso wo ma ye road wo ma ye bibia kaso akwan na na ye ahomete nso tesi a contractor so gusu a wo mo ye nti metu maba metu ama alaji bawo mia na wasan atoa na akofo ado enyuma pa wo ye samikasa mentu aba na ma anye good citizen ama me ho nti media metu aba ma bawo mia no atoa ni nyuma no so esanse sa wahwe wo ma ewo school da etue school fees a enka ne obehu se ne kura de omo ye no eye fala oma ne nya Ghana pe enemu ayede bebia yede me nuanu kura fi Nigeria ba enra ne 3 days wo mo se ehonum ayede enti bebia yede ba Ghana ha no wukuta sika wunya aduane to emre bi ba ye kura wukuta sika aduane wukuta sika aduane no wunya bi nto kire wo fabo e na wo de asalai sesi anu sika na bi kuta wukuta sika wuye adwuma aduane na bi wo ho wo benya bi ato enti ba wo mia to aso alaji ba wo mia na meto be ma no.
And this is your election brief. Election brief is on your election headquarters. Election headquarters is for an informed electorate. For more of the news, log on to myjournline.com for also the updates of all the developing stories. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.